YouTube was good. It's your boy Jody Joe. Welcome to Jody's Corner. I'm Jody Joe. I'm here with Sadler Ward and E, man.
Special guest.
What's up? What's up?
Thank you guys so very much for being here. We're going to go ahead and get into the topic. The topic is BatmanGate. What is it? What's it about? And what happened? Let's go ahead and get to the topic. Here we come. Like I said, we got Chris Wozniak here, who is the creator of the BatmanGate movement. I would like to call it a movement. Hopefully we get more eyes on this situation. Chris, welcome to Jody's Corner. Thank you so very much for being here.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Okay, so listen, like I said, this is Jody's Corner. We're going to ask all of the tough questions, the questions that we may have after we get our explanation of you telling us just exactly what BatmanGate is, and you yourself says you have no problem answering them.
In his own words.
Let's do it, yeah.
Okay, so Chris, for people who are not familiar with BatmanGate and your story, can you give us just a rundown of exactly what's going on and what BatmanGate is?
Yeah, this is real simple. I wrote a Batman story with the Riddler, being a serial killer and everything.
Right.
And in 2008, I met executive producer Michael Uslan, and he gave me his card. I sent him the story, and never heard from him, and now my story's in the movie. So,
what was that like to see the movie?
Bitch.
Right. Did you see it in the theater?
No, I didn't catch it because I live in a small town in the mountains. I'm from Manhattan, but I moved up to the sticks, so we have a small theater in town, and I didn't catch it. It was only here for a week, so I thought
Oh, shout out to Swag Kage. Thank you so very much for the love, Swag. I appreciate you locking it in. I'm going to let that donation go through, and I'm going to get to all the donations because people are going to donate their comments as well so they get them read. So Chris said you're in the sticks, but you've seen it probably on, I don't know, HBO Max or whatever. What was that like? How much of the movie did you see before you realized this is my shit?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the phone earlier that day with Chris Batista, and I knew the movie had come to HBO Max, but I wasn't planning on watching it. And I was talking to him, and he explained to me, he thought like the movie, he thought that Batman was like the closest to the Neil Adams Batman. And that, got me curious. I was like, really? So I said, all right, I'll give it a watch. I'll check it out tonight. And so, I threw it on, I put my kid to sleep. I threw the movie on, and I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is real close to, my story. And then by the time they get to the scene with, where the Riddler turns himself in, and he's in a cell, and he's revealing, the whole Bruce Wayne thing, I had to stop the movie, and I called Batista back, and I was like, dude, did Michael Uslan produce this movie? Because this is my story. And he mistakenly said no. He thought that, because really, who pays attention to producers and film,
right.
really, and he was like, no, I don't think he does anything with it anymore. And so, I sat there watching the whole rest of the movie, just, getting more and more pissed. And then by the time, like, we get to the end of the movie with the Joker, the unseen Joker who pops in last minute, who's not in the whole film, just like in my story, and he just shows up at the very end. I'm like, motherfucker, man. I was on fire. I was furious. And so I went on Facebook to try to, ask Michael Uslan about it. And I was unfriended, and so I called Batista back. I told him, yeah, it's Michael Uslan, because,
you said you were unfriended, real quick. I want to interrupt. You said he unfriended you when you asked, were you a friend before?
Yeah, we were friends before. I don't know when he unfriended me, but, by the time we got to that point, I was somewhere along the line. I had been unfriended. And, but I texted Batista right away. I was like, dude, this is a Michael Uslan movie. I got a problem. So the next morning, I went straight to my email provider and asked them for all my old emails, going back to the day, and and I started making the video right there that first day.
Okay, so thank you for catching us up to that. Did you have? So you made it in 1990, is that right?
I initially wrote it in 1990 for Archie Goodwin. He was, Batman editor at that time. It was, right after the Keaton flick. Everybody wanted to do some Batman work. So, I thought I wrote a killer story. I was really super excited about it. I thought I had really, really hit a home run story. And I brought it in. I gave it to Archie, but how it is, like up in the office. I dropped it off as like, I got a good story here, but you got to come back in and pester and say, hey, did you get to it? Did you
Sure,
get to it?
of
So
course.
it took like 2.5 weeks or so, and and then I was in the office, and Caddy, he was in the corner office, and I was in the office across Caddy corner, and I think it was Kevin Dooley's office. I'm not 100% sure, or maybe Owsley's office or something. I don't know. But Archie came in, and he was like, hey, did you write that story? And I was like, yeah, I wrote that story. He was like, did you write it by yourself? You really wrote that? And I was like, yeah, it's my story. He goes, I think it's great. He says, but we can't let you do it. So
Wow.
I'm sitting there like, I didn't understand that. And he was like, he's like, Paul and Jeanette just are not going to let you. It's too big a story. And he said to me, if you were Frank Miller, we'd let you do this tomorrow. And that was it. I didn't know how to. I was like 26 years old, so I didn't know how to really press. I was trying to get out of drawing and get into writing because writing's just much easier for me. And and I just kind of went okay, and I let it go. And I just found out actually, I don't know, a month or so ago that I did write a second Batman story. I didn't even know about it, but my friend from back in those days, who was also my assistant, he has copies apparently. So he sent me, he sent me a picture. He's like, I found, the second story that I wrote with him, and then he's like, I got another story here. I'm pretty sure it's your Riddler story. So he's on vacation. When he comes back, I'm gonna have to, bitch and moan for him to go digging.
So you were officially a penciler for DC, is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
And on the side, you were like, since I'm so close to the source, let me go ahead and show them what I could do as far as my writing ability. And you wrote that story and turned it in because you were connected.
right. So
Okay.
but the thing is, if a lot of people don't understand. Like, if you write something, you own the copyright to it
Right.
until you give it away. You got to sell the rights to it. And even if it has Batman in it, or the Riddler and everything, if I write that story, I own that story until I sell that story.
Really?
So
Even
and I
don't they
never
do
sold it. So
contracts? Don't they do contracts when you get hired by DC? Like anything that you create
right,
while working for
yeah.
DC is our property. Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, like, that Batman story is the only story in the history of the character, in the history of DC Comics, in the history of Warner Brothers Pictures and everything. That's the only Batman story in the whole world that got used, and there's no contract for it. So they have a serious problem at this point. They don't, they don't give a shit because they got $1 billion film studio, or whatever's going on with them. They don't care, and they're just going to wait it out to see if I could do anything about it. But theoretically, it's not theoretical that it's copyright infringement. It's absolutely copyright infringement, and we're going to take care of that. But they're just waiting it out. Guys with money waiting to see if I could turn up some scratch, or.
So let me tell you how I feel. I'm watching DC Fandom 2021. Yeah, it was DC Fandom 2021, I believe, where Matt Reeves takes the stage, and everybody was excited about this Batman, this Gotham world, this big, huge world that he said that he's building. And he spends about 20, 25 minutes talking, boring us to death, because we thought we were going to see trailers and footage. He's literally talking and giving these like detailed specifics about how Gotham is, how Batman is, what the story is going to be like. And it makes it seem like he just knows what he's talking about. For most people, to know that he was coming to the plate with a plot treatment script that originated from your 1990s story blows my mind. How can something
Yeah.
like that happen? What do you think happened? How did it get from you to being a
I'm gonna,
Batman
I,
movie?
I'm going to explain to you exactly how it happened, and even though I wasn't there, because let's just, for instance, say that you doubt me and you think I'm full of shit, right? Even if I was not here and claiming ownership of that story, and I actually do own that story. I've been granted a copyright at this point, but I'm going to give you just drop dead proof that Matt Reeves did not write an original screenplay, because when I gave that story to Michael Uslan, and when I say gave, I mean submitted. I didn't actually give him the ownership of it. I just showed it to him.
Right.
So submitted is a better word than gave. 4 months after I gave it to him, and this is 2008. right? 4 months after I gave it to him, there are articles and rumors all over the place that Warner Brothers executives who are in charge of the Batman, franchise, and that's Michael Uslan, are pushing super hard for Christopher Nolan to do this Riddler story, rumored to be a serial killer story with a Catwoman and Penguin subplot, you know, and this is 2008, so there's no mention of that story ever that is predating my email. It begins only just a few months after my email, and that is just enough time for them to take my story, add those 2 extra characters to it, because when they make a movie, they want to do merchandise. They always throw in a couple extra characters so they can have action figures and stuff like that.
Right.
And just a few months later, they're hot to do the script. And David Goyer, screenwriter, talks about it in articles, and Christopher Nolan, they tried to push it on him, but he had just done the Joker, and he wanted not a cerebral villain for the next movie. He wanted someone Batman could fight. He wanted a physical villain. So even though the Warner Brothers executives were pushing hard for it, that they were just all hot to do this. He declined. He was like, look, I want to do a physical villain. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. How many Riddler serial killer stories are there in the vault that they're willing to spend $200 million on? It's so this plot, this outline, this treatment that they were sending to Leonardo DiCaprio, and this proposal they were sending to Johnny Depp and everything, is the same outline that they gave to Matt Reeves, to do this new movie. They didn't come up with 2 Riddler serial killer stories, and with it's clearly the same outline, and we're going to turn that up actually. So it's one of the things that is on our list to do.
So to bring it all together, 1990 is something that you had. Fast forward to 2008, you give it to Uslan. 4 months later.
But before that, I had also shown it again to DC, after Archie Goodwin was a fantastic editor, fantastic human, super talented guy, but he passed away. I want to say year 2000. I'm not 100% sure. But after Archie died, he died. So I was like, well, I still have that Killer Batman story we didn't use, and I resubmitted it by email to DC Comics to the new editor, and I can't remember that dude's name. I got to go look that up too. But
do you remember what year that was that you submitted to?
That's about 2002, I think. So, and like I said, I'll be able to document that too, but we got to go dig those up. I've been busy with other things, and I know it's there, so I'm not concerned about it. But I think that the Batman editor at that point is I got to look it up. Is it Jordan Gorfinkel? Is that a guy? I don't know.
I don't know, Jordan.
But whoever whoever the Batman editor was then, I emailed it to him as well. And then in 2008, we get this Michael Uslan thing.
So you gave us some clarity as far as like where it was almost from what I'm hearing is that they were almost making this The Dark Knight Rises. That would have been the outline for The Dark Knight Rises, the third film after The Dark Knight.
Yeah, they were pushing really hard, and there are articles about this that people could look up. You got to go digging for them, but there definitely are multiple articles where Warner Brothers executives are pushing to do this Riddler serial killer story, and they wanted that for Nolan's third film. They were really hot on the story. Now, if they're hot on that story and they don't get to do it, now when we come here and we're doing kind of like the only next solo Batman flick, clearly they're gonna just they pulled out that same outline.
Right. So it was something that really could have been in 2012's The Dark Knight Rises, but then here we are in 2000. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would have been fucked if they had made probably not, because I would have seen the movie, but I was unaware that they were shopping that story and trying to do it, like all those rumors and articles and everything. I never had seen any of them. I guess I guess if the movie had come out, then I would have been alerted.
So I guess that answers a question though that somebody might have. Those of you guys who have those questions, like, why didn't you say something after that you saw it in the news that they were going to do The Dark Knight Rises with your treatment? Why did you stay silent? It's because he didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know.
He wasn't aware.
Because the thing is with superhero movies, and generally speaking with all movies, if it's something I don't know about, I watch a trailer. But if I'm interested, I stop there. I don't want to see extras and behind the scenes.
I'm the same way.
I want to watch the movie cold.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a superhero movie, I know I'm going to watch it, right?
Right.
So I don't even look at the trailers. I just want to, I wait for the flick to come out and I see the movie. I don't want to know anything about it, any behind the scenes. And generally speaking, I don't like behind the scenes anything anyway because it kind of ruins the illusion. I want to be immersed in the movie. I want to give it a shot. So I don't. I try not to watch any of that extra stuff.
Understood. So it's safe to say that 2022 comes along, the Batman movie comes out. We assume that since it didn't make it for The Dark Knight Rises, that they had it on the shelf for another day. And
Right.
by the time Matt Reeves says, "Hey, I'm in,"
Yeah.
well, you're in. What about this Batman? We got a Batman treatment that we would love to see.
Yeah, and bing bang boom, then we're doing it because, I didn't know that he had, what Uslan clearly had taken my story as soon as I gave it to him. All this time, when the whole thing started, I was making excuses for him. I was like, well, you have my story a long time. Maybe it's an oversight, or maybe he had it massaged internally at the office, and they just, forgot where it came from and everything. But I just had issues like, squaring that, and because Michael Uslan seems like a really nice guy on camera and in person and everything. He seems like a good guy, but this is just fucking bullshit. I mean, like as soon as I gave him this story, he ran away with it. Never emailed me back. Never,
Messed up.
So I mean, what kind of person are we talking about here? This is not, So I don't know.
And he still won't reach out to you for any communications at all.
It's like I said. As soon as I started this, I
Lawyered
said
up.
that right then. The first video, they're gonna go dark. Of course they are. That's what they always do. But they're not gonna stay dark.
I want to make sure that I have all of the story down for the viewer. So we're all the way at the Batman. What do you believe? Who do you blame? It sounds like Uslan is the number one on your list because he took your stuff and ran with it.
Yeah, that's my suspect for sure. I think at the end of the day, it seems like he's the And here's the thing, like from my perspective, it seems clear to me, that this is Michael Uslan's doing, because it doesn't matter what creative project you're working on, be it a comic book, a movie, whatever it is, in a creative contract, no matter what you're doing, like even if it's a little one to do a comic for DC or a big one to make a film for Warner Brothers, in your contract, if it's creative work, you state that the work that you're doing or delivering is yours to give. And this is not his to give. He didn't have the right to do that story without contracting, clearing it with me and signing a contract, coming to some kind of terms. And he just took it and ran with it. Now the problem here, and he knew he did that back then, but the problem here that I was having issues with was like, okay, we hired Matt Reeves, we're gonna make this new movie, and here are the stories we have lying around. We have this, we have that, what our options. And so the split second they go, okay, this is the story that the new movie's gonna be. It's gonna be this Riddler story. That bell had to go off in Michael Uslan's head that, hey, this is not my story to give. So he just had to know there's no way, unless he's senile, and he's not, clearly. So this is purposeful.
How do you feel that Matt Reeves is going around parading this story as something that he created himself, his own vision?
Well,
How does that make you feel?
I'm going to give him a tiny pass because there's a possibility that he doesn't know. He's clearly given an outline, because you don't go off on your own and write something that's that tight with mine and has the rewrites and everything. That's just bullshit. He was given an outline, and that outline is based on my story. That's all there is to it. However, it's very possible that Uslan said, hey, we have, this great outline here. This could be the new project. You take this and run with it. Now that is possible. And, Matt Reeves may not know where it came from. He may have thought that they had clearance for this, that they, wherever it came from, he probably wasn't even bothered. It was like, yeah, this is a good idea. Let's do this, and so he went out and did it. It's conceivable he doesn't know. Or he knows now, obviously, which is why you're not going to get any kind of answer out of him. But
there's an extreme amount of similarities between Matt Reeves' movie and what you wrote. I mean, outline is a nice word, but too many coincidences, almost beat for beat in that movie, man.
It is beat for beat. I mean, all they did was scale it down so they could fit it all into Gotham City. That's the only difference between my story and their movie. You know, if you take my story and you give it to 100 screenwriters and say, well, okay, but we're doing a young reboot, it all has to take place in Gotham, you're going to get 100 versions of what Matt Reeves did. You know, that's all there is to it. I mean, you know, the things that were changed are a one-for-one, you know, conversion to make it happen inside Gotham City. But they have this same story function. You know, they're identical, so they're interchangeable. You know, they're exactly the same.
Okay, so before we get into the questions, I want to ask the first question I want to ask is, what do you want to come out of this?
Well, first of all, I'm going to get paid because this is bullshit.
That's right.
So, you know, and you know, and I want credit too. I mean,
a writing credit, right? Story by credit.
Are they kidding? That's the main storyline of the film. You know, and they're just gonna, like, you know, it's fucked up to sit there and, you know, when they're doing these, you know, YouTube, they're doing their victory laps because the movie made money and everything. You know, oh yeah, and then I see Matt Reeves, like, time after time say, oh, it's not based on, like, you know, other Batman stories. This is all mine. I created it. And I'm sitting there fucking burning because, like, that's, you know, they're doing.
That's why I asked you what you feel about Matt saying it's all his, that he created from the ground up.
I said there's a possibility. Well, that's just bullshit, but that could just be, you know,
Hollywood bullshit.
Right, Hollywood bullshit, and they,
Right.
you know, they're just doing that so everyone can have a hero to praise. You know how that shit works.
I'm not gonna lie. If I wrote that story and I'm watching the man on screen saying something that I developed from the ground up, I'm ready to throw my shoe at the screen, bro.
Well,
put a lot of time
I don't know how I'd react if I heard him say that in person. There might be.
Right, it's gonna be some furniture moving in that motherfucker. That's for sure. Okay, so I see where you're at with it. So, is there anything else that you want to put out there before we bring some questions for you to answer?
No, dude, when you got questions, let's do them.
Okay, cool. So, we have a couple of guests who I know are in the StreamYard, but we're gonna give priority, obviously, to the panel. Sad.
Awesome.
When we first talked about this, Sad, you had a lot of questions like, "Yo, why my man's this? Why my man's that?" There he is,
locked and loaded.
Let's have those questions right now.
All right, great. Glad to have you.
Go.
Glad to have you here, Chris. How to pronounce your last name?
It's Wozniak. You can just say, you can call me Woz. That's what everybody does.
I didn't know if it was Woz or Woz.
But it's Wozniak.
Got it. Welcome to Jody's Corner Live. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to make this happen. This is a big deal for us. I hope this is the beginning of a big deal for you. In the event that you are speaking the exact truth and you're the creator of that story, let me lead by saying I hope you get everything you're asking for and more, if in fact that, you know, everything you say is true. I have to say,
I mean, at this point, I've done two
yet.
things that, like, if it wasn't true, I'd be in a fucking lot of trouble.
No.
I mean, I reported them to the FBI. I actually did that.
Holy
I filed
shit.
a complaint. I filed a complaint with the FBI, you know, saying that's a stolen intellectual property.
I'm just
And
saying
so,
that.
You
I'm
know,
saying
there's
that to say
and
that
I
I'm
also
not,
filed a copyright that was granted. So if this was not true, and the story, like, I just wrote it or something, it would just be so easy to uncover fraud like that. It would just be nuts. I mean, I'm out here with my real name and face.
Got it.
You know, I'm not nuts. I'm not gonna go. You know, like,
here's
I'm
the
not gonna
thing.
fuck with it.
As a creative, you know, I want to root for the underdog. I want to root for, as a creative, as a writer, as a comic book guy. I want to see you win in the event, but I have to come for your. This is journalism. We have to get to the truth. So I'm putting that out there for you as a person before we really get into the heavy hitting questions. I want to give you that respect, because as a creative, if it happened to me, I wouldn't want to be, you know, blindsided by a bunch of naysayers. So I just wanted to give you an upfront respect from everyone here in the chat and from me before we get into the deep
I do
shit.
appreciate that, but I mean, if you guys noticed on Twitter, I just threw it out there because of all the bullshit that's been, you know, spoken. I was like, get all your worst, most penetrating questions.
He wants the smoke. He wants the smoke.
Hit the fog.
When I corresponded with him, he said, "Yo, I don't care if you're on my side or not. I want
let's do
to
it.
get my story out. So
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There's
Okay,
no,
great. Let's get it.
There's
So
no
you're
questions here you're going to hear me stutter about, because this is not like, I got to think about
there
it.
you go. That's what I want to hear. So
you're from
Let's
have
go.
at it.
Manhattan. You're from Manhattan, right? City
I am.
kid. You grew
Yes.
up in
Yes.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
So you
Projects.
gotta be street smart. Projects in Manhattan. Lower East Side, Upper East Side, what part?
LES.
Oh, so that's
The
hood.
Vladic. The Vladics.
Got it, got it. That's the hood, Jody. He's been around there
That's the
for a
hood.
long time.
Chris from the hood. Oh, for sure. Shout out to you, Chris.
That's
Go
no,
ahead.
that's the hood.
That's
That's
what's
no
up.
joke. That's the
All
hood.
right.
Now you worked at DC for in 2090, or when was it? When did you work at DC as a penciler?
Oh boy, from the mid '80s to the mid '90s, I
Okay,
think.
so you saw the golden era. You were in the middle of all
Yeah.
the when copies, 800,000 copies being sold and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Death of
Todd
Superman.
McFarlane, Jim Lee
Yeah. I
breaking
was around for
out,
all that craziness. Yeah. Yeah.
Levi's commercials. Okay, so you were a pencil, and you went from DC to Marvel, if I'm not correct, after you left DC.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was your stay like at DC, and what left? What ended up with you switching sides?
DC, it was wonderful to me. I mean, I didn't have any issues. I liked the people that worked there. I wasn't crazy about Paul Levitt's, like, not letting me do a story like that. There's just stuff like that. There's some small politics, that are always issues because it's an office with a lot of people and, whatever it is. But generally speaking, the people at DC were great to me.
So that was before DC came to Los Angeles, correct? You were in the New York
Yeah, they
offices.
were still New York. Initially at 666 Fifth Avenue, and
Yep.
then they moved over across from David Letterman's.
Six six
Um,
six Fifth Avenue was the
that's where,
address.
yeah, that's where it was initially, and also they had like red glowing letters 666 on the top of the building.
Oh,
At night.
damn.
Whoa.
It
Hell
was
no.
at
Crazy.
night. It was a little creepy. Yeah.
Of course, of course. All right, so how many pencilers were writing scripts at that time, or getting books made? Is that common
Uh,
practice?
Well, the tough jump, I started as an inker actually. And the tough jump is to go, if they think of you as an inker, to make that jump into being a penciler. There's just like, oh, you get slotted into something, and you kind of get stuck there a lot.
Right, pigeonholed.
Yeah, yeah, unless you couldn't be held back, like someone like Jerry Ordway, who was a murderous inker, like fucking as good as anyone. And then you just show up and you get those killer pencil skills too. That's, you just can't deny the guy, so you got to let him through. But a guy like me, who's not superstar, you gotta push and work to break out of whatever it is that you're doing. You know, but and then the tougher jump, even worse, is to go from penciler to writer.
Right.
That's even worse. Yeah,
They want you to
that's
stay in your lane.
yeah,
They
exactly that.
they
Yeah.
don't and okay,
Right.
to get a job at Marvel and to get a job at DC, that's not an easy job to get. You got to be pretty smart, pretty
You gotta,
tenacious, and
yeah, you gotta not give up. Yeah.
hardworking. How did you submitted pencils out the blue, or you went to a
Yeah,
Comic
I
Con
used
and showed
to.
them your book? How does a guy like Chris
Right.
Wozniak get on?
Well, a lot of it is a little bit of weirdness. I was young, I don't know how old I was when I got in, but I was a messenger at the World Trade Center, like shit job, minimum wage, kind of delivering fucking envelopes in the cold and all that shit. But on my regular run, because I had put together samples and I had been to DC and
I know where
shown
this is
things
going.
around. Yeah. But it just happened that on my run, Andy Helfer, who was a DC editor, he lived across the street from the Trade Center, and he got on the same train with me daily. So I saw him fairly regular. Like, now, it wasn't always on that exact train together, but I ran into him a lot. And we went to the same stop even. We rode all the way up to Fifth Avenue, and so I got to know him, and I got to pester him. I was able to come up to the office more like that, and eventually he gave me some work. It was
Wow.
Karen Berger. Karen Berger actually gave me my very first job, but it was really through Andy Helfer that started to happen.
Okay. Okay, so I want to get at that because I just wanted to, you know, you didn't fall off the back of a truck and end up at DC. You have to be
No, I don't
pretty
think anybody does. You gotta be a
right.
pain in the ass to break into comics in those days. You
Got
know,
it.
yeah,
But that's how you got your job. So if you
yeah.
were to, if my main question I'd like to lead with is, would you, obviously, even if Batman hadn't happened, if I was a 26-year-old and I came to you and said I want to submit a script to someone 3 years ago, before this Batman came out, wouldn't
Oh,
you advise any young person never to give an unsolicited script to an agent or to
yeah,
a film producer?
absolutely. Yeah, don't ever fucking do that. That's crazy.
So
'Cause
why would you have to learn the hard way? If didn't you know this at
well,
26?
No, no, no. First of all, things were different then. It was absolutely okay to you did it on the regular, so you hand out scripts and samples and stuff. You could walk into the office, go door to door to all the editors and say, here's my shit. Look at my samples.
At
Here's a
DC
story I
because
wrote.
you're in the
Yeah,
loop.
that was
You're in the
very, very,
office. But
yeah,
when you
very different
leave
times.
DC and it's 10 years later and you're talking to a movie producer, this isn't the
Well,
guy
here,
at the hall you're having coffee and lunch with in the break room.
right, exactly.
This is a
However,
complete
with
stranger.
yeah, there's two. First of all, I'm actually very protective of my property. This is the only time I ever let something out, and the reason that I was a little lax about it is that it's very specifically a Batman story. I couldn't use it anywhere else.
Right, you have your own book.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have your
It's
own
a
book. What's
bat.
the name of your
Yeah, it's a
book?
bat. Right now, I'm doing something called Penelope Powerhouse. It's like an uh, adult swim type thing. It's
Okay.
adult humor,
Okay. Just wanted to give
and,
you a
and
plug. Go ahead, keep going. Sure.
thank you. Yeah, but with the as far as like doing the unsolicited thing, that's actually kind of not really true. Um, there's two parts to this. The first thing is that Mike Uslan approached me and gave me his card and told me, "Oh, I'm always looking for good stories." Because I was
Ah,
at, I guess we better do the meeting, I guess. So 2008, I'm at the Javits Center. I got a booth at the Comic Con,
So you've been
right?
in the game almost 20 years at that point.
Yeah, but I had, after comics crashed, I got out and I was doing marketing work and, corporate films and stuff like that. I was dipping in 2008, I was kind of just dipping my toe back into comics, trying
But
a
you're in
couple
the
of things.
circles. You have friends that are all trying to
Yeah, yeah,
make
no,
movies and
I
writing
still
scripts.
know,
You're
yeah,
not
I still
like
know, yeah,
you know the game.
yeah, I still know people. I just like, I was making more money outside of comics. So I
But
didn't, you know.
had you known anyone who had had a script stolen prior to that? You didn't hear all the Matrix
Well,
rumors about the black lady who supposedly wrote the Matrix, or have you hadn't
yeah,
heard
also,
people's stuff getting stolen before?
well, yeah, but also the thing, like, there's a number of times that happens, but, like also there's the Stranger, I didn't look into this, but, the Stranger Things, the guy who supposedly pitched a show called Montauk, and, I heard there was actually a commercial for Stranger Things that, had the Montauk logo still on it and stuff like that. So yeah, now obviously I'm aware of that stuff, but you know, here's the answer to that question. Like I said, this is a Batman story, and there's only two places I could get rid of it, right? I could sell it to DC, or I could sell it to Michael Uslan, because it's a comic book or a movie. That's all there is to it, right? And with that, I knew bunches of people at DC, and also Michael Uslan used to work at DC and was still connected with all the people there and everything. So I just felt that we were still in the family. I didn't think anything sinister was going to happen. I just like he's one of us. He's a DC guy. He came out of the office and everything. I didn't actually know who he was the day I met him. He gave me his card and he asked for a copy of my book. He liked the title. It was called Barren Soil. He's like, I like the title. I'm always
That's the
looking for
one I
good
was
stories.
reading about. Yeah.
But yeah, so he said, can I have he asked for a complimentary copy. And, but he said he was a film producer. So of course you're going to give it to him.
right.
So, I gave him a copy and then he gave me his card, and, um, and I didn't know who he was, but after the convention, I went and Googled him and, give me 1 second. My daughter's, are you okay?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So we're gonna
so
come to the questions, guys, really soon.
yeah,
We're gonna bring
I
people in
apologize.
after
Yeah.
SAG goes. Go ahead.
So what was I talking about?
You were saying that you gave him a copy of your comic book.
You gave him a
Right.
complimentary.
I gave him a copy, and then after the convention, I went home and I Googled his name. So, film producer wants your book. You want to see who it is at least. And I looked him up, and I saw he was the producer of all the Batman films. And I was like, holy shit, I've got this killer Batman story that we never used. So I sent it to him. Of course, I sent it to him. Well, why wouldn't I? You know. And so, it's not really unsolicited. He gave me his card. He approached me. I didn't. And now, okay, he didn't specifically ask me for a Batman story, but the fucking guy doesn't have the right to use it either. Like let's calm down when we're like saying who's in the wrong.
Well, I think that a lot of times if you develop a Disney character while you're at Disney on Disney paper or
That's a
with the
whole
pencils,
that's a whole nother that's work for hire. So if you are working at DC, if you're under contract at DC and you create a DC character, that's another story. That's called
you weren't at
that's
DC
called
when
work creation. Yeah.
so in your
I was
contract.
I was a freelancer at DC. So anything that I did they had to buy from me. I wasn't an employee
So
of
you were
DC
never an
Comics.
employee at DC.
I
Got it.
was never an employee. No, I was never under contract. I was never an employee. So anything that they wanted from me to use,
They
we
had
would
to
have to
pay.
have, it has to be a contract.
Now with
Yeah,
your
and there,
comic, I'm
and there
sorry.
is for every Batman story has a contract
Now with the
connected to
comic
it.
book that you gave him, was that comic book? Uh, did you copyright your other story?
Yeah, of
So
course.
it has a right all rights reserved. So you knew enough to copyright your own comic book, but you
Yeah, I
knew
had an ISBN number for it and everything, and yeah. I mean,
so when it comes time to give the Batman producer a Batman script,
uh
why you said you just recently registered it with the Library of Congress. Why wouldn't you register it back then?
because like I said, it's a Batman story. There's only two places I could use it, and I had already offered it to DC, and they declined. So I had it around. I liked it. There was a couple of times where I thought I could try and rewrite it for something else, but I couldn't make it work. It was a Batman story, so it just sat around. You know,
I would
it
think
just
that you're trying to break into writing. I would figure you'd want to follow
No,
the
this is
correct
this is
steps.
after, dude. I'm not still working at DC Comics. 2008, I don't work at DC Comics anymore. I'm just like I'm not still shopping. I mean, it's true that this particular script, I shopped it a few times to them, but it's over the course of years. It's not like I was, hey, banging on doors saying, hey, do you want this? Do you want this? And so after 2008, I still thought the story was unsold, and there are a number of times where there are guys, other pencilers, other artists who work at DC or work specifically in the Batman office. And if we were talking about projects or if we had worked on something and was, coming to a close, I said, look, I got this Batman thing, do you want to do this? We'll go to the office with it and see if they'll bite.
You weren't
So
aware of the
so
WGA, Writers Guild of America, or Scripps. Not even a you
what?
didn't you weren't aware of the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, where you could register your stories or Scripps
Yeah,
or
but
any of
again,
those things.
we're not. I'm not giving stories to strangers. It's just a story again to DC Comics or to the dude who worked at DC Comics and is now representing Batman. I didn't think we were dealing with fucking like a guy I never met, some shady
Being as though
dude.
you told me you
It's
from
like
the LES.
because I know. Listen, I know people that also know Michael Uslan, quite a few people. So I
Are
didn't
you
think
becoming a piranha with
anything
them? Are they avoiding your calls as well? Are they picking sides? What's going on in your inner circle?
with what
You
with
said you know people that still know him to
right.
this day.
Yeah,
What
no.
are
If
they
there
not?
are
Are you getting
people, yeah.
voicemail? Are they sending you the
If we are talking
voicemail?
about people that still work at DC Comics, they're not going to say damn thing. You're not going to bite the hand that feeds
No,
them.
but there's people who jump ship like you, went on
Yeah,
the
no,
Penthouse.
dude, I get.
Ain't nobody gonna jump ship for him though. Let's keep it a
behind the
buck.
scenes
If you're
comics
inside
like, oh
DC,
shit, they stole your stuff.
you're not gonna
Well,
risk
yeah, for
nothing.
sure.
Being from
that's
the
a slaughter for yourself.
from the LES, most robberies are inside jobs. So it makes no sense to me that you would know this guy and say, "Oh, well, he's a good guy. I'm gonna just give him a script," and he's making Batman
He
movies.
trusted Uslan. He trusted
Dude,
him.
he's
complete
from DC
stranger.
Comics.
Not
He
a
worked
stranger.
there.
I mean,
You know, I had
He
seen him in
knew
the
what he
office.
did.
He
Even
went
I
to
didn't think
DC.
this was.
What
I
about
didn't
the
think,
poor?
Bro, I'm a hand. If I got a story, bro, if I have a
It's not
story
like I
and I
left
meet
my
Christopher
suitcase
Nolan,
at
I'm gonna
Port
give it to him,
Authority and I
bro.
came
Because you're
back for
trying to
3 days
change
later. It's not
Not,
that stupid.
not even a poor man's
You're trying to get your
copyright
ideas
where
up.
you
Come
where,
on.
not even where you mail it to yourself. Like you woke up 10 years later and said, "Hey,
Well,
that's my
first of
script.
all,
Let me do all the things I
you
should
need
have
to
did
you
in
need to understand
2008."
something. Like I hear where you're coming from, but you're coming from the hood angle. I'm going to tell you what the government's take on this is.
Oh, you
So,
hood motherfucker.
and I'm
Well, he
not,
said,
dude.
no,
I
you
am
the
not.
one that said you didn't
I'm not
register it
dissing
with
you.
the.
I am
You
absolutely.
said
I'm
you
just
didn't
saying.
register it
Yeah, I
with
know,
the,
bro. It's
you
free.
didn't
Say what you
register
want
it
here, bro.
with the government. You didn't.
We're not PC, bro. We
Yeah.
don't get offended off stuff
No,
like
we're
that.
good. We're
Go
happy
ahead.
you're
good.
here.
Go ahead.
But
Good.
you're the one that
All right.
said you didn't register it the right way. So I asked you if you registered it the hood way. What else? What else can I say?
Okay.
I got plenty of
So,
brothers.
okay, but right now, as we sit here, all right, there is a registered copyright for this story granted to me. Okay, so I own that story. However, what you're talking about, like going
Could we
back,
know the year? Can you tell us the year's copyright?
It's now.
Copywritten?
what?
Now.
What year?
The story. Well, here's what
Just
this is
now.
what I was.
I'm
this is-
asking him. Let me hear what you talking about. What am I going to ask you? I'm asking it for him.
Sorry, go
What
ahead,
year is it
Waz.
copywritten, Chris?
Yeah, your boy is breaking up a little bit, but this is how this works. You know, after I think it's 1976, and that the law was written, and then it's passed in '78. But it's the Copyright Act of 1976, I believe it's called, and it's titled specifically Title 17. And since then, the way things works is if you create something, a drawing, or if you wrote a story or something like that, the copyright is automatically granted to you on creation, just by creating it, because exactly for situations like this where people get ripped off. So essentially, you know, all that matters is if you can prove that it was written when you say it was written, you have a copyright for that. But I have filed an actual copyright, and the copyright is granted, and it's got a creation date in 1990, and I could prove, that I wrote it in 1990 and all this. So, we're not going to get into, do I really actually own this story? I do own this story legally,
So why not share?
I can't hear you at all there.
Yeah, we can't. Did you power it on when you plugged it up, E?
We're changing mics. So why not? I'm not saying you have to give up your copyright number, but don't you? No, it's horrible. This is horrible.
Give it to me.
We can cut to the people, and I'll come back to you.
Give it
Right.
to me, E. So let's go ahead and bring in some people that are in the chat who want to ask questions. Let's go
Sure,
ahead and
let's
pull some of them in. We got James Davis up first. James Davis, welcome to Jody's Corner. You're on with us in Wozniak. Ask the Woz anything that you want. Be respectful.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Woz. How you doing today?
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
So I got one question. Don't you think in the Batman movie there are a lot of similarities from other Batman stories that aren't also in yours?
Well, I know all of my plot is in that movie. There's that, so there are things. First of all, you got Matt Reeves, who is claiming in YouTube interviews that his story, is not based on any other Batman stories, that it's an original creation.
Well, he said he based some of the plot off the Long Halloween.
No, visually, he specified that visually he took visual cues from some comics, but the story is uniquely his. That's what he's saying.
Okay. Well, that's just.
But I agree with you. With the red lighting and everything, that he took, things from other things. But there's first of all, there's this thing that doesn't matter what he took from other Batman stories, because they're not going to predate mine. My story's from 1990.
Do you still have the original 1990 script? Is it
There
possible to
is,
show?
yeah, because I got my homeboy that I don't want to say his name because of everything that's going on,
Okay.
but he was a friend of mine, lifelong friend, and in those days he was also my assistant, and then after that he drew some books for Marvel himself,
Okay.
uh, but he didn't stay in the comic book industry. He is now a New York City retired police captain,
Mm-hmm.
um, and he believes he has an actual original 1990 copy of that story because supposedly, I didn't know about this, I'd forgotten about this, but I wrote after Archie had bounced that story because it was too big.
Yes.
I wrote another story with my friend, and we submitted that, and he has that story still, and obviously would confirm that the Riddler story is, was also pitched to Archie. But he believes, he's like, I have another story here. I'm pretty sure it's a Riddler story. He's got an actual 1990 copy of it.
Okay. Well, that's just some questions I wanted to clear up. You can
Sure.
ask
There it
questions.
is. All right. Thank you for calling in. Next person up. So far, he's a 1-0. My dog Jay Beast. What's up, Jay
Hey,
Beast?
what's up? What's happening? How you doing?
Hey,
What's
nice to
good?
meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you, Chris. Thank you for being here, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. I just want to get this out the way. I am on your side. I
Oh,
really
good.
hope you get justice for this because
Thank you.
after watching the video that Jody reported on last week and listening to everything you had to say past half hour, yeah, no doubt about it. I'm on your side, bro.
Thank you. Because you, like, to first break this and say this in public
Yeah,
is hard.
it's got to
That
be
shit is
scary, bro.
hard. Yeah, because,
But honestly, I look
no,
at it like you had nothing to lose in this scenario.
yeah,
I really look at it
yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
So,
even your friends are like, "What?"
man,
I'm like, "Dude, trust me. Sit tight. I'm gonna show you." And after I made the videos, then everybody's like, "Oh, wait a minute. Now I'm getting phone calls like, dude, that's your story. What are you doing about it?" You know. So, but but somebody I don't know, that's really nice to hear. I do appreciate that.
oh yeah, absolutely.
And dude, from the bottom of my heart, I swear to God, I am not bullshitting you.
I believe you. I'm on
Okay.
I
your
believe
side,
you
bro. We gonna
already.
get justice for you, bro, for
All right,
sure.
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
thank you.
But okay, I
Definitely.
have a few questions.
Yeah, let's go.
I guess my first question is Matt Reeves, he made very minor changes to the story. You know, like instead of Barbara Gordon, it was Commissioner Gordon that had the
Right.
booby trap set. You know, instead of
It
the
was Alfred.
Riddler
Yeah.
turning himself in the precinct, it was the diner. And
Yeah.
instead of the plague, it was the flood. So I guess my
Right.
question is, do you feel like any of the changes in the movie were better than your own script, or do you
Yeah.
prefer your own
I
story?
I do. I think first of all, a lot of people don't know this. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're a Zack Snyder." I mean, that's not. I didn't know any of that shit was going on. All the infighting with the fans and everything. I
Right.
didn't know because
Right.
I just watched the movies. I don't.
Hmm.
I don't go into chat things or anything. So I didn't know about all the beefing. And
Yeah.
so, I just I just watched the movie, and I like the movie. I don't think he did a bad job with the directing. I think the directing is actually really good,
Yeah.
and
Agreed.
I think he did a really good job finishing the screenplay that started with my plot.
Mhm.
So as far as what he did with it, I got no issues with it. I thought it was a pretty good movie.
You think he improved on anything from your story, or do you think
There's
that your story
I,
is verbatim the better
I
version?
I think his ending is clever. He does a different fight scene altogether. The big battle with the bad guy. It doesn't matter what it is because the whole purpose of it is just to beat the bad guy, so we could
Right.
So it doesn't matter what it is. But the way he did it, and first of all, if anybody reads my story has a great ending too. But he did do a different and different fight.
Gotcha.
Big battle. He did a different battle, and to hang on to the other guys that were in the commune, or in my story it's a commune, and his story is an orphanage. That
Right.
he used those guys to bring them back to bring. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool and clever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I
Yeah,
respect that.
I got no beef with Matt Reeves' talent.
Yeah.
I got beef with him saying it's a completely original story. Now that's
His
just bullshit.
integrity.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
effed up. I don't agree
Right.
with that.
yeah,
I'm the
yeah.
same
Absolutely
That's
way.
not.
I think he's a good
yeah,
Mhm.
director, but he's a
Me
liar.
too. He's
yeah.
not that good with the pen, in my opinion, and I felt this way before finding out your story. I don't think he's nearly as good as a writer as a director, and this is proof of that,
I
clearly.
agree.
But
You got any more
It,
questions,
it,
JB's?
yeah,
it
just
may
one more.
be.
Just one more.
Okay,
One
go.
more, go.
Chris, how much money personally are you seeking out? What would satisfy you that, for everything you've gone through since 2008 to now,
Well,
what are you seeking?
here's the thing. I don't know how much money is like, like what's your,
Let
share
me
for,
expound upon that. Was they think that
right.
you're a money grubbing clout chaser,
Not me
and
though,
and
but
that you're
some
only
people.
doing this for money and clout. That's why you came out the woodworks.
What, dude, let's be realistic. I fucking, I'm 57 years old. I'm from Manhattan. I live in the sticks now. I'm not looking for attention. I got no
Respect.
social media. Yeah, I got no social. I have a Facebook account so I could connect to other guys that draw comics and stuff if I do a project or something. And that's it. I didn't even have a Twitter account. I only joined Twitter after Elon Musk said he was going to buy it. And I was like, oh, I'll check it out. So I opened an account. I didn't use it, and then this thing happened. So this is I've got. And dude, if I get paid, I delete all my social accounts the next day. I'm not fucking, who needs this shit? It's
I
crazy.
like that.
Yeah, cause your
Yeah.
He
video, your
really is from the
YouTube video
trenches.
was whack, man. You ain't, it your YouTube video wasn't popping. I could tell you. That was my main beef,
Oh my
because the
gosh.
video looked crazy. Like I said this, he said that. I was like, why wouldn't you
Right.
go to the real script and show us exactly you know what I mean?
So that's a question, Chris. Why didn't you use your script, like pictures of your script, and put it in the video that you made?
It's in the video, so you could read it. It says freeze frame the video, and you could read the script. I put the whole script up in the first video.
in part one.
Yeah, in the very first video.
Well, yeah, at the beginning you showed the front page of it, right? But it's in the scenes.
In the very first video I made, the
Yeah.
entire script, or it's like whatever, 16 pages or something, that's in the video.
I guess they wanted to see the actual physical script itself.
There's not a way for me to give everybody a copy of the script. So what I did was I put every single page in the script, and it says freeze frame, then you could screen grab it or just read
Send
it,
us that link later. I didn't see it.
It's the very first
That's
video.
it right here. It's typed though, right? You typed it in, right? We're looking at it now.
Yeah, this
is you at the top, like video key, the Riddler scheme.
The one I put in the video is color coded though, and I made the font a little bigger so people could see it on a video screen. But it's the same story. Yeah.
Right. So this right here. So what we're looking at, I'm looking at right now. We're all seeing the video key for when she was trapped. While at home, you scratched out Barbara Gordon. You put Alfred receives a riddle.
Right. Those are the changes that they made.
Yeah. Right. It says the Batman first finds out. What we're reading here, it's type. You didn't scan this and upload it from the actual.
Well, you would if they're typewritten pages. So like
that's what they were talking about.
Right. The original plot is written on a typewriter because they weren't even computers back then.
Right.
Well, I guess they were, but not like in common usage. Like
they wanted to see that
an electric typewriter
in 1990.
In 1990, yeah. I mean,
Sorry.
I had. It's I'm old.
So basically, they wanted to know why. They wanted to know why didn't they see? They want to know why didn't you like scan it and upload it that way and then put it in the videos?
I don't have a copy of that very first original one. Like I said, my boy says he has it. We're gonna hopefully get that from him very soon.
Okay.
What I retyped it from was a Xerox that my brother, because I got hit by a tornado in 2011. I was in Alabama.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And so I lost all my shit. So I had to retype it, and I still have I have that file, and there are older files too that were emailed and stuff like that. But at the time, I was just looking, I got hit by a tornado, and I didn't have clothes to put on. Like I lost all my possessions.
Jeez.
So I was just looking to get work again. My brother said he still had it, so I typed it up and just to send it out again.
Back to your question, J Beast.
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
Your question. Did you ask it? The last question?
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
I'm good here, man.
Are you happy? Are you satisfied? No more questions? You good?
Yeah, I am, bro. I just really want you to get your justice for this, because as a creator, as a comic book creator, Batman creator, like, I just couldn't imagine, being done dirty like this for, God knows how long. And Matt Reeves is up here giving boring ass speeches, going to these cons, bro, acting like it's his own. Yeah, that's pretty whack.
Fraudulent, bro.
I need one person to put a camera on that dude and ask him about it and watch him shut the fuck up. He's not going to say a damn thing.
Facts, bro.
That's my question.
I want to be that one
sir.
person.
That's my question to you too. Is like, Like, how did you feel by this man saying all of this about he created this
I
brand
already
new,
asked that, but
you know,
okay.
I know he
I
did,
already asked
I
that.
know he did, and I'm just like, did you even feel like, you know, when it came down to it, like, I need to contact Warner Brothers, I need to let them what's going on, what's
Oh,
happening
they're going to
here?
be contacted. Don't worry about that. We're taking care of that shit right now. So trust me, they're not going to stay quiet for too much longer.
Oh boy. All right, Jay Beast,
All
thank
right.
you for stopping by.
Hey, appreciate
Nice
your
to meet
time,
you.
Chris. Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate
I
that.
appreciate it. Thank you. Very nice to
All
meet you.
right, we're gonna bring someone else in. We got 5-star crib. Welcome 5-star. Wozniak's here. You're a member of the community. Ask your question.
Uh, so my question is, do you think there's enough changes or a lack, better yet, of changes within the story to where the copyright that you have will still be in effect? Because
My copyright
a lot,
is yeah. My copyright is sound. We are not talking about ideas. It's a complete story. If I had just submitted some ideas, they wouldn't have granted a copyright because
well,
that's
because that's my thing though. Like, in order for something to not be like, hey, with a copyright or whatnot, it has to be changed, transformed, and made its own um like project essentially. So that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think there's enough
well. Here's the
similarities?
well. I'll tell you right now. There's internet intellectual property lawyers that feel they have a very good case, excellent case actually. They said so. Um, so to answer your question like that, uh, guys that should know, they think I've got a case. So, but the thing is, like, what they're not allowed to do, like, you couldn't copyright a concept or an idea. You can't say, oh, my idea is that the Riddler is a serial killer. And, that's my new idea for this story. And Batman fights him, like that's just an idea. You can't
Hmm.
copyright that. So the reason I was granted a copyright, because not only do I have fresh ideas in it, is that there's an expression of those ideas. It's all fleshed out. There's a complete story, beginning, middle, end. There's scenes with dialogue and character motivations, and my ideas have been expressed, and they copied the expression of my ideas, and that is
But
why.
that's what I was saying though. I
Yeah,
didn't mean to cut you off, but that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
they didn't. No, they
Like
absolutely did not change it enough to just get a fresh pass. No, nobody thinks that. You know.
okay.
So, and they you can't just take the whole thing beat for beat and just go, okay, but he's young now, that's not enough. Clearly there are the expression of my ideas present in that film. Like the Riddler surrendering himself specifically so he could, confront Batman with the fact that he figured him out, and that they're in a because all that shit is right out of my plot, that he's in a holding cell and alone, and he's talking with Batman
I have
and
something to the
my
contrary on that, Chris. I want to ask you how you feel
yeah
about
go
this. So when I reported this last week on a live stream, I have people who read Batman comics in the live stream watching it, people who
right.
love Batman. And a lot of the responses, to my disappointment, a lot of the responses were, oh, you could get this. There's nothing specific here. You could get this in any Batman story. It has all this
Then
type of stuff. It's the
we doing
same
videos?
stuff.
Why are we doing videos where everybody's praising Matt Reeves for how original his Batman take was?
Yeah, they were saying it was like
I
the
mean,
long Halloween.
He said, a lot of
yeah,
people, the long Halloween, but if you make any
yeah,
Batman
but
story, you're going to have all this type of
The
stuff in
Riddler
it.
has riddles in every
He's always riddling, and
yeah,
there
I mean,
was an
that's
ocean
true.
in the long
Yeah,
Halloween, water and flood, and he took it from the. They're basically saying just a coincidence. It's a
yeah,
coincidence that you got on your
right.
hands.
And that's crazy though. I mean, how many coincidences? Yeah, because we are talking about
That was my
this
response.
dude, right? We're talking about this dude, Matt Reeves, going off and writing an original script that he like, and he's claiming he never saw my outline, my plot, right? So that means that he went and wrote, out of all the millions of Batman stories you can write, he wrote a story that is, beat for beat, same as my story, while while his producer is holding my story, and this just happened by accident. That's like,
And
let's
that
be
producer
realistic.
happens to be the same guy that you gave the story to?
Right. Yeah. I mean, what let's who's going to buy this bullshit? It's like it's nonsense. But then on top of that, then we get to that point where with the rewrites and everything, where they did the character compositing because Barbara Gordon couldn't be in it because she's too old. So they gave her scene to Alfred, and then they gave Alfred's scene to the mayor. He did that by accident. Like, come on, man. This
That's
is,
what I'm saying.
yeah. Nobody's buying that shit. It's fucking, forget it.
It's insanity. 5-star. Do you have any other questions?
No, just that.
Thanks
All
a
right,
lot,
thank you.
5-star.
Why did he turn himself in, Matt? Well, it didn't make sense in the movie to me. Didn't make sense to any of us. Why to you? If you originated the script, tell us why before we jump
Well,
back into the next
It's
question.
obvious why he turned himself in.
No,
But go
no,
ahead.
no,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
let
no.
him say it.
Let's hear what he says.
In mine, it makes a little more sense than the way they did it. Like, he turns himself in knowing he's going to get out. But when they do it, he turns himself in knowing that his boys will finish up. So that's the only difference. He did a little different like that. But that's why he did it
I thought your
specifically.
script said he was going to be
I
in
was
a
off.
personal hell forever or whatever.
Oh, I was off. I thought he turned himself
That's-
in because he wanted to, get that face to face with Batman, let him know that he
but
knew who he was.
He did. That's exactly why he did it,
Right.
because he wanted to confront Batman
Okay, yeah.
with, showing him that he was smarter.
Yeah.
They
Cool.
figured
Not
they
too far
figured
off.
his shit out.
Okay, great. So let's bring in another one. Swag, get your mic right, brother. Get your mic right. Are you back? Swag, Kage, trusted. What's up, bro?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, good evening, Chris. That's a good name, by the way.
Thank
I
you.
know lots of people named Chris. They're very intelligent.
Wow, this guy.
Anyways, similar to J Beast, I only have two questions. The second one's a bit more complicated, but
Okay.
the first one is quite simple. I just want to, well, I want to make it obvious. I do believe you. After
Okay.
hearing you speak for this extended period of time, I do think you have a good case against Warner Brothers or whoever you're trying to sue.
Yeah.
So my first question is specific to your script. I was reading some of the pages. Well, not the pages, but I was reading for your video, and particularly the part where you're talking about the trials by Riddler. I think it
Yeah.
was the first trial. If you want to show it, Jody, like to the rest
Sure.
of the channel,
Yeah, I can show
uh,
it.
yeah, the timestamp is 11 minutes and 9 seconds. Is trial one. So what I found a bit odd,
All right. Here we are.
and it's criticisms I was seeing a lot too in the comment section, but I think you've answered it throughout this live stream, but I just want to make sure 100%. So as a trial one, you were talking. It was specific to, I think it was civic protest that was going on. You were saying civic protests about people who were
Yeah.
protesting about inflation and I think 40% of unemployment rate.
Yeah.
Anyways,
There's
that's not,
economic collapse in my story that they
yeah,
didn't really
economic
do.
collapse.
Right.
So the reporter that was reporting this news, you had specified that it was an old version of Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So this is the part where I'm a bit confused. So you said you
I-
wrote the script in 1990, right?
Right. I'll straighten that out right now. Go ahead, finish.
Okay, yeah, you wrote the script in 1990, but to my recollection, I thought the character was created in 1992.
Yeah. And the very original, the very first 1990 version of my script, it wasn't called The Blind Man's Hat. It was called The Ultimate Riddle. It's the same exact story that I gave to Archie. The version that I gave to Archie in 1990 doesn't have the Joker ending. That's why. It's after Archie passed away and I resubmitted it in 2002. Before I sent it to the office, I gave it a little fluff, I gave it a little polish, and that's when I added the Joker and gave the Harley mention. So that part
There you go.
that you're talking about that doesn't exist until 2002. So
Good question. Good question. Good answer.
yeah, it is. It is a very good question.
So to be specific, that's the only time you gave it a bit of a rewrite, or did you also add upon that?
Yeah,
after 2002?
that's the only time I ever gave it any kind of significant rewrite. I may have done a spell check or something, you know what I mean, nothing, but the version that we have here, that the movie is made from. The only difference between that and what I showed Archie is essentially that I added the Joker as the mysterious mastermind. It's the same exact story. That's the only part I added to it, because I just thought, oh, maybe it'll interest them more. And as it happens, that's the part that Chris Batista, when I offered it to Chris Batista in 2017. And 2017 is still before Matt Reeves started working on his version. But that was Batista's comment that oh, it's a great story, but I don't think it needs the Joker in the end. We could do it without that. And that's his remark of saying that is why I remembered, that I given it to him, that I'd shown it to Batista, because I showed it to a few guys, like guys that you've heard of. But I remember that he made that Joker comment, and I was like, oh, let me go look. And I had to go through emails and chats and stuff, and I found that 2017, it turned out to be a Facebook chat where I sent it to Batista, and that story is embedded in that Facebook chat, still dated, that you could still access it, 2017, which predates any work that Matt Reeves did. So that's just another version of it that's out there. This story's been kicking around forever,
Okay. Yeah, I understand that answer. My second question is,
Well, before you go, Swag, before you go, I really want to say for the record that point right there, that question that Swag just asked this man about the Harley Quinn bit was a lightning rod for a lot of people to just dismiss his case. He got Harley Quinn. He's mentioned Harley Quinn, and she wasn't in Batman until 1992. He's a fraud. So that's a very good question, and I'm glad that that's the answer.
Okay.
Yeah, I've answered that a number of times online, but it doesn't.
To add a bit to that, I'm not entirely sure about how copyrights work, but your story is copyrighted. Is it in addition to all the additions you've made to the script too in the copyright, or is it specifically the 1990
with something like that, there's something called with copyrights. First of all, if you have something that's a copyright, it stays a copyright so long as you don't significantly change it over the years, but you're allowed to make adjustments to it and the copyright still works. Okay. But in this particular case, because of exactly what you're talking about, we are filing what's called a supplemental filing. That's it's like an addendum to your copyright to explain, to clarify things like that. So the copyright as it is going to stand. There's going to be a supplemental filing to deal with exactly what you're talking about, just to cover all the bases and make sure we're good. And there's proof of it too. So, there's not going to be, it's not talk, it's going to be backed up with, paperwork and, computer files and stuff.
Fully understandable. So my second question, like I said, it's a bit more complicated, but like you've heard before, lots of people are talking about, this Riddler or this story in general. You could find it in different stories of Batman, and you can find it in different comic books. I don't know how much of a fan.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, no, it's your question. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a fan of Batman you are, but I doubt you play the video games. But just in case, there have been video games. Yeah, there have been video games specifically by the company Telltale, which is basically like a decision-making type of video game. So they had this video game called Batman Telltale. It was season 2, and we kind of saw this version of Riddler that was a much more serial killer type of.
Yeah, insane. But what year is that from? It's not 1990.
Of course, it's not 1990. It's a lot later. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, from Matt Reeves and the fans in general, the Riddler being so different seems to be a very popular talking point. Like Riddler is a serial killer. Riddler is actually not a joke.
Serial killer and a mass murderer. So it's a little more than more than a serial killer even. And when I wrote the story, the Riddler was still just a prankster. So it was my take on him was very different. But if there's subsequently, I can't I don't know every iteration of everything, but we're still going to come back to the fact that I wrote it first, and Matt Reeves says that his screenplay is not based on any other Batman stories. It's original. So
of course, and this is kind of,
and we're still talking about like this or that. At the end of the day, we have my complete story that is represented in the film one way or another.
This is the point I was trying to make. It's kind of adding to your point. And I'm basically asking, how much weight are you putting on the Riddler character being so different and that like being kind of your unique idea versus the plot? It seems to me, after hearing you talk for so long, that you're putting a bit more emphasis on the plot, the story.
It's the complete package. I hear what you're saying, but it's not
really
any one
character.
Yeah, it's not any one thing. Well, the reimagining of him, like I said, is mine. Like that character was not ever portrayed like that before my, version of that. And so there's no, in those days, there was absolutely no mass murdering Riddler. That just
Well,
didn't
At
well, to
all.
be
exist.
fair,
Not
to
even
be
a
fair,
dark
if you're
Riddler
saying,
like that.
Not even
to be
close.
fair,
But
if you're saying that your reimagining of the character in that light is yours,
right.
then you'd have to also admit that all the other companies or comic book writers or anybody who's made the character in that portrayed that character in that light has gotten it from you too. Like from, for
Well,
example, the video game.
that's not my problem. I just have to prove that I submitted it to DC first. You know
And
what I
I'll
mean?
say that if he's the first one to
Yeah.
turn Riddler dark and serious,
Yeah.
and everybody else made a dark Riddler, they definitely got it from him.
They stole it.
Yeah, there's like I submitted that story to DC in 1990. If they use bits and pieces of it somehow or somewhere, that's not my problem.
Yeah, he don't care
All,
about
all
that.
I have to do is I just have to prove that I came up with it first and that I gave it to them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
and
the
when
rest
you
is their problem.
you emailed but in 2007 you didn't give him a physical copy. You emailed it to him, correct?
That's an email, yeah.
And you have the
I-
receipts. Said you're looking to the Excite or whoever your AOL or whoever you emailed him through because you don't have the correspondence. You said he never replied, but you don't have his email address from then or what?
I well, this we're gonna get to that. Yeah, I mean he gave me his card, and I emailed him to the email address on his card, that same file. So yeah.
The question that I have too as well is that some other
I-
people said, why didn't do you
Yeah.
have email? Will you, when the time comes, court, litigation, deposition, settlement, whatever it
Right.
be, do you have access to the email
I'm
receipts?
gonna have everything. We're showing up correct. We're not
Okay.
there's not gonna be holes. We're not gonna. I'm not gonna go. We're talking about Warner Brothers, the second biggest movie, studio in the world.
Right.
Right.
It's not a joke to fucking call them out.
Right.
If you're doing that, you got to show up with. You got to come correct.
Everything.
You got to have everything. You got to be airtight. So that's what
Did-
we're gonna
I
do.
know you said that you're gonna go get the servers and go get a lot of the stuff off the servers, some emails.
Well, I have it. It's just right now we have
The
other
specific
things.
one that I want to know:
That's it.
do you have the correspondence emails between you and I forgot his name.
Do you have the business
Ulsan?
card?
Between
Well,
Yeah,
the
there's
producer. You and Steve,
there's
yeah.
another email, like I said, I mentioned to DC. I mean, I know we have that, but I haven't gone and dug it up yet. We're gonna have there are more people are coming into this now, not just me. Finally,
Oh, okay. So you got some
know what I
support.
mean?
You got a
Like,
team.
I
That's good.
it's like I know what I have, and but I'm not.
Okay.
I don't need it yet, so I didn't go dig it out. But we're now gonna start unpacking all that shit.
Okay. But just knowing that you have it is enough for me. Swag, you good?
Yeah, I'm just want to final conclusion. Yeah, like I said, I have faith in you. I think you have a good case. I think you have a strong case. The only thing that I would say is, like I was saying earlier, I think it would be much more beneficial if you focus more on like the weight of the plot points, instead of
Yeah.
like the reimagining of the Riddler. Because in my opinion, I think Batman has gotten darker in general throughout the years, and his
Yeah.
villains have followed, so to speak. So I think
Yeah.
you'd have a bit more, weight
Yeah,
to just talk
at
about.
at the end of the day, it's the expression of the ideas. So
Yeah.
we have to include everything, because even in the videos, there are some things that, can happen in other Batman stories, but because they are in both my plot and the movie, I got to mention them anyway, just to
Yeah,
say.
as much
you got-
resemblance as you can.
You got to keep like that pile
yeah.
gets
Of course.
to a certain point where they can't go, oh, well, it's an accident. I wrote it, separately, and it happens to be like, So there's a few things in there like, that the Riddler fucking drops riddles. Yeah, no shit. But we still have to include it because it's in both. So
you get it,
things
yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
But
well,
when we
thank you.
get into, thank you, and appreciate your sentiment there. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll let other people call in.
All right. Thank you so very much, Swag. I appreciate you. We have one more person waiting to ask questions, and his name's Jeff. What up, Jeff? Jeff, are you still there? You're gonna have to unmute if you're talking. Your microphone is muted. And Jeff bounces out. I think Jeff is gonna want to return. All right, so just to recap, you have all your receipts to the emails. You have came and shown that you have now copyright to the character that you'll be able to have. You're suing as well, because a lot of people were like, okay, a lot of people were under the assumption that you can't sue because we thought that, oh, it's DC's. Anything that you make belongs to DC.
No.
And we learned something new because I thought like, yo, if
Yeah,
you're a writer,
no.
you're an employee, anything that you create
Yeah,
while employed
no.
by them
He was a freelancer.
is
Yeah,
there.
I mean, like
so
my
you were like,
story has Batman and Riddler in the title. It's about DC characters that are wholly owned by DC, and,
He's an
and they still
independent
give me a
contractor.
copyright. It's
That's the
because
difference. He's
like
not
Peter
know, if
Parker
you-
to the Daily
yeah.
Bugle.
See,
Yes.
the distinction
Work
here,
for
if I
hire.
could explain real quick, is that if I write something, I own the copyright to it, and even though it's a Batman story, DC Comics owns the trademark to Batman. That's the difference between a copyright and a trademark. It's like, okay, this is my specific story, but it's their character concept. They own the concept of
Right.
Batman, the idea of Batman.
Right.
And so they can't use my story because they own the trademark. I like they can't use my story because I own the copyright, and I can't use my story because they own the trademark for the character.
Got it.
So that's how the law protects both sides. That's why there has to be a contract in place for either one of us to use it commercially. So, but there's no contract. That's going to be the issue here.
Oh, there it is. This man came up and looked everybody in the eye and said what he had to
Said the
say.
truth.
Me personally, I gotta say something before I pass it to you, Sad. When a man comes out, says he's worked for a place, shows the fact that he's here is good, but for somebody like me, common sense ain't common, and I'm glad that I have it. When you seen that video, for me, seeing it was enough for me. You can't make up that many coincidences. There's no such thing as that many coincidences.
Yeah, the videos were enough for the lawyers.
Yeah, when you see that many things line up, no matter what you are, if you're a Batman fanboy, a Matt Reeves fanboy, or you're just a person who doesn't want to believe a guy. You think a guy might be coming out just because he wants clout and fame because it might be popular to do. At the end of the day, regardless of what you believe,
I don't want to be famous. I just want that paycheck and my name in the fucking movie because it's based on my
You want
story.
your credit.
So,
You want your credit.
I just want credit. And like I said initially, I was only asking for fair compensation. They fucked that up already, so they can forget about that.
maybe punitive is on the line. I would say this.
We're going past though. I just want the,
Yeah.
this is a fucking shitstorm, and so it's not my doing, it's their doing.
People
So
ask me what
yeah.
do you think he wants? I said if I know somebody who is has a lot of integrity in what he writes, I would assume that the number one thing this man wants is the credit for what he wrote,
Yeah, dude.
and
they're
for the
talking about a
payment
movie
of that
made-
credit.
Yeah, they made $900 million. You know what kind of boost to your career that is if you have a credit on a movie like that.
Yeah. And you want to do movies and stuff too.
That's
You wanna-
money for my kid.
Yeah.
It's like, and we're getting jerked for it. So.
That's a new opportunity for you too because you want to be a writer and do movies and do
For sure.
things like that. Yeah.
There's
Have
I mean, listen, you got a credit in the Batman movie, you're gonna not have trouble finding work.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen? I'm sure you've seen some sort of boost in popularity from going from obscurity to being a known. Have you seen it in the sales
I
of
don't-
your comic books right now? Now that
I don't
people are
know.
talking about you,
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just launching a new project now in the next couple of weeks. And we'll see how that does. But I mean, I wasn't. This is I was working on that project, and then a Netflix producer saw my teaser trailer for it, and he liked it, so he asked me to write a pilot for that, to write a pilot episode for that character to
you emailed them that without no copyright too. Where it was?
Yeah, no, that's all tight. 'Cause
So you
like I
did
said,
it.
that's
You did it
fine.
the right way this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, like I said, this is mine, so it's all locked
It's your
up.
character.
We're not. Yeah, scripted. I got copyright for the character and the script. And
Have you ever read Batman Year One? And what is your response to everybody talking about Year One that came out in '87? The similarities between your script and this.
fantastic book. I mean, yeah, but it's not similar to, the movie. It's not the same story. I mean, from Batman Year One is, it's a landmark book. It's great. It's Mazzucchelli, Miller scripting. It's, but it's not the story that's in the movie. I mean, yeah, the only coincidence is there is that it's just they're doing a young Batman, but it's not the same story.
Last person came back, Jeff. I'm gonna try one more time. Jeff, are you there?
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that,
Welcome back,
guys. I was
Jeff.
on the phone. Mom's called, so I had to
Got
talk
you.
to her. So
Welcome
I
to Jody's
apologize.
Corner. You're on the line with Woz, man. Chris Wozniak, the writer of the Batman that didn't get credit for it.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to you. I've been following this for a while now. Ever since I
Okay.
saw it trending on Twitter, and so I'm happy I get the chance to talk to you. I only have a few questions for you because obviously
Sure.
you've done the rounds, answering a lot of questions. First question I have is, um, and I'm not sure if the last caller talked about this because I was on the phone, but um, what percentage of people do you think that have read your story, have watched your videos, um, believe that you would win a lawsuit case
Well,
against
I
Warner Brothers?
mean, there's two sides to that. I mean, I could be 1,000,000% right and still lose a lawsuit because we are like, the kind of resources that they have, they could just, I mean, that's it's going to be tough no matter what. It doesn't matter how right I am, when they have that much money and that many resources, they could push things off, and so I mean, you need a lawyer with serious resources to deal with something like that. So
Yeah, no.
that's what I was waiting on.
Mhm.
Um, but it's I mean, the amount of people that see the video and believe me is I think substantial. I think I mean, obviously I've got some haters out there and doubters and everything, and that's all fine. We all expect that. So I think though that I win over way more people than 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 people come away, with not buying into it, because the whole wave of trolls and everything, that shit happened overnight. So I don't know if it's you know these are bots, or I don't know what's going on. But I think most people, I probably think I'm hitting 75, 80%, that
Interesting.
people, yeah, because that's what I'm hearing out in the real world. Everybody, that don't know about it much, they're like, dude, you got fucking robbed. So I
Yeah,
think I'm
I,
winning quite a few
yeah.
people. And
Mhm.
like I said, at this point, there are internet property lawyers that think I have an excellent case. So,
Definitely, yeah. I could
and
definitely see
so, yeah,
how you would
yeah,
how you might think that. So it's kind of like you said, you're not looking for clout from this. You're looking for
no,
compensation. And it seems like the two ways that would happen is winning a lawsuit
yeah.
or Warner Brothers just pays you off, right?
Right. You know, it's tough to say because um, you know, the people that I'm getting involved with are preparing for the long haul, and if we go there, but there's I mean, I am not a lawyer. I just know my situation. But, I would imagine, like, you sit there and go, oh, well, this looks bad. Do they really want to go to trial? They'll probably go to trial. But, what I'm thinking is, do they really want to go into discovery with this shit? They want me digging around in their closet? What are we going to find? We know what we're going to find.
Yeah, well, I think that obviously they'll be super prepared for that. It's a big studio.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I
I'm sure they're deleting hard drives as we speak.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think that would be the case for this, but I also wanted to say, you know, if you were to win a lawsuit case against Warner Brothers, like
Right.
I know that you came on here and you keep saying that they stole the story beat for beat, um, but I think that's false, right? It's not true. Um, if they did steal your story, then they changed a lot of it.
Yeah, but that
They might
does.
have kept the same some of the same core points or flipped them or whatever it might be, but they did
Right.
change a lot, Chris, right?
Well, like before I even answer that, are we admitting that they used my story to make this movie? They just changed it? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, I would agree that, obviously, I think you're being honest with the fact that you wrote this story, you submitted it,
Right.
it was in their possession, and sure, yeah, that they might have presented this as an outline. My point of saying that is, if they did use your story as an outline, but
Right.
they actually did in the end product change a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
And if you were to win this lawsuit, would this not be opening up the floodgates for a
No.
lot of people that
What you're
commit work to this company?
what I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
No
I
worries,
think
no worries.
what you're thinking of is that because it's not exactly my story, every word for word, that's plagiarism when you take something word for word and reprint it in the book or something. That's a whole nother thing. Copyright infringement is the expression of ideas. So if I wrote this story and express my ideas in this way, and then they take those expression of ideas and use them. That's just copyright infringement. That's all there is to it. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah, I think that's true. But what I keep seeing online regarding your case is that chart, that table that breaks down what your story has and what
yeah, I've seen
Batman,
that,
right?
and yeah, but but people are totally misrepresenting that. They're like, oh, look at this is different. Like, no shit. Watch the fucking video. I say these are the differences in between my plot and the movie, and then I show you why that they are not just like difference, they're actual rewrites, and that they maintain the same story. They're one for one parallel, and that they maintain identical story functions in every instance, and in every instance for the exact same reason, to bring the story back into Gotham because they're doing a reboot. That accounts for everything. So they're showing it before the green type comes in and has all the explanations in it, and they're going, look, he's saying this is the same. I'm not saying it's the same. I'm just saying those are the differences. I say that literally in the video. I say these are all the significant differences between my plot and the film. So they're just completely misrepresenting that and go, ooh, look, But when you get dealing with trolls and everything, they just they want to make a point that's negative. It doesn't matter, if it's true or right or But I mean, it's explained right there in the video.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I think that from what I've seen, the most unique parts of your story and parts that the copyright would most apply to, especially if we're talking about characters with established backgrounds and lore and myth and history. Those most specific parts to your story seems like it's parts that they did not end up using. So I personally couldn't see how you could take this to court.
There are
And
guys that
Can you be
understand
specific, Jeff, on
copyright
what you
infringement
mean?
better than us.
Yeah.
That
Can
think
you
differently. So
explain the specific things that you say don't match up? What are you talking about specifically?
yeah, well, again, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm sorry. They changed the Riddler. His people were he was in a commune, and in the movie it's like they're in an orphanage. That's a one-to-one parallel. It doesn't matter if it's different. It's an identical story function. It's like you can't have in my story, the garbage can is pink, and your story, the garbage can is blue, so it's different. It's the same story.
Yeah, but
Just,
isn't it? It's even stuff like you saying that the Riddler knew Batman. The Riddler did not know who Batman was in the
yeah,
new Batman. It's stuff like right.
you're just wrong about that. I mean, I don't even think you'll get Matt Reeves to say that. It's clearly what it is.
No, I don't.
If you want to disagree, that's fine. But like I said, I mean, I don't. That's I honestly, I don't see how that was anybody's take on it. But if that's your opinion, that's okay. Because Matt Reeves did, I mean, I think he handled that scene actually really, really, really well, because he doesn't bang it over the head, But it's very clear, that the Riddler knows who Batman is.
I don't think it's clear. I think that the whole point is that he doesn't even care who Batman is. I think that was the outcome of it.
We're talking about the movie. The movie, he doesn't know when he says.
Yeah, we're talking about the movie. I think it's very vague.
When he's going Bruce.
When he's telling him Bruce Wayne, when he's telling Batman Bruce Wayne, we don't think that he knows that that's Batman?
Because clearly it seems like...
I don't know what you're talking about there.
Wait, hold on.
Respectfully, I'm going to very much disagree with you.
Give me a second. Give me a second here, Chris. I need to ask him a question. Are we talking about he baited Batman to come and see him, and then releases Bruce Wayne on him? You take that as Riddler doesn't know that Bruce Wayne's Batman?
I've heard that multiple times. I don't know what people are thinking.
Jeff, are you saying that?
We are supposed to take that as we are supposed to believe that he does at first.
Jeff!
In the scene,
it's obvious.
What the freak? Oh my God!
Don't argue. Jody, don't argue with me like I'm dumb for saying this. This is like a very common thread for people who.
Yeah, this is
Just because it's a common thread,
misconception.
common
If you're not
sense ain't
understanding
common, my
how
bro.
that could, if you're not understanding how that could happen from what is presented in the film, then sure, we could agree disagree, I guess, because
There's
that is
no
definitely
disagreeing.
there's an
Just,
option
oh
in the
my
film.
God.
Just saying.
That's like him saying. That's like Lex Luthor saying, "I will only talk to Superman," and then Superman shows up. What do you want?
could've went either
I
way.
just
Listen.
wanted to say, I know Clark.
The Riddler knows who Bruce Wayne is.
the frick?
Dude, he's got sins of the father.
Oh my
He
God.
fucking baits him into coming in. Obviously, that's the point of it. That's the big, that's the fucking big scene in the movie.
You rolling with that, Jeff?
No, I mean, also, I think Chris earlier he said that that the whole point of Bruce and the Riddler being there was for a completely wrong reason. The reason that the Riddler wanted Batman to come there was that they can watch on the work that he believed that they were working together to do, which was to destroy the city. That was why the Riddler wanted Batman there, because he thought that him and the Batman were working together. But either way, that's on a whole nother.
For me, it was more than that. It was the dynamic that they were both orphans. That orphan element was a big part of it. Like, you're Batman, Bruce Wayne, the orphan. I'm Riddler, did what I did, the orphan, and which was talked about in The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger and we're not so different, you and I.
Yeah.
All it takes is one bad day. I mean, you could be over there on that side, and I could be over there on this side.
Yep.
I mean, Jody, you are just categorically wrong about this.
I'm categorically wrong.
You're categorically wrong about
Prove
this
it.
interpretation. I think that you should read some more about the movie Batman.
No, I seen the movie. I seen him call Batman Bruce Wayne. Do we see that?
Obviously, that scene was very divisive among people, but I think that there is a general consensus that is vague, very vague, whether he knew who he was or not.
It's vague. He tells Batman Bruce, and he
It's
sings
fine.
Bruce Wayne to Batman, and you're saying that.
Yeah, he tells him.
Chris,
what
oh my
does he
God.
say about I know
Goddamn.
that's the real you. That I mean.
The package
He
goes
says-
to
he's
Bruce
saying
Wayne's
that-
house.
Exactly.
And it
He
says
just said
Batman
the
on
Batman
it.
is the real him. He doesn't care who.
Well, how
he
does he know that if Batman's a stranger?
Right. The package that Alfred has
because he is like
Batman's-
Batman, where when he puts his mask on, he feels like that's the real him. That's why he relates to Batman. That's like,
Listen, my personal opinion, and I'm just saying because I wrote the story, I know what's what, and everything else matches. So clearly, that matches too. But I don't understand how anybody watched that movie and came away not figuring that out. Because
I agree.
I agree
It's
too.
the biggest scene in the flick.
yeah, all right, agree, disagree on
It's the
this.
most important part of the movie.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Anything else, Jeff?
Listen, everybody's allowed an opinion, right? I mean,
Absolutely. Everybody's allowed do Jeff has his. Do you have any other questions, Jeff?
Oh yeah, I did. Just sorry, one last question. I know we've been talking for a while.
Go ahead, bro.
There's a big portion, I think, of your fans that are backing this movement, that are directly related to the Snyder Cut, or this.
Yeah,
sorry,
but I don't.
Snyder
This is
Cult.
out of my wheelhouse. I know I've seen that, and but I didn't know there was this big fan beef between Snyder fans and fans of the other stuff. Yeah, I actually didn't even know this was going on.
I like to add clarity to that. Chris,
yeah,
as someone who's fought them for many years on my channel, I'm very experienced with them. The reason why they're aligning themselves with you is because there's an agenda to take down Warner Brothers, and your agenda's aligned. You want justice, but it involves bringing Warner Brothers down a little bit, and the Snyder Cut want to take Warner Brothers completely down. So they're going to naturally back you in your fight to make Warner Brothers look bad. That's the only alignment that there is.
They want revenge.
I don't
want
know,
revenge for Snyderverse.
What I'm supposed that's
has nothing to do with you. Has nothing to do with you at all.
That. But I mean, there are a lot of shakeups going on at Warner Brothers. With the canceling of Batgirl, and there's clearly that dude's cleaning house. Zaslav,
Zaslav's making it happen.
Yeah, the new head. Yeah, he's got ideas about how he wants to do things. So he's going to do that.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to. I wasn't, trying to attach you to
Yeah,
that
I'm
or
not-
anything.
I'm
I just
not-
want to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm not even shitting on the movie. I thought it was a good movie. You know, I'm, you know, I just
You're
think
definitely
that
not a
it's good
hater. You're
movie.
just mad.
It's a good movie based on my story, but it's a good movie. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I wish you the best. I think that it's gonna be if you do win this case, it'll be a extremely impactful decision that I think will definitely ripple through a lot of the.
It's
the
gonna
things
it's
that are-
gonna get interesting for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, thanks, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
I
Jeff.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
Thank you.
calling
Thank
in.
you, Jeff.
All right, there it is. Any final questions? I want to let Chris go. He's probably has a long day ahead of him, so long night with the wine and shit. It's late over there. He's on the East Coast, so it's like 10:37
That
right
wasn't
there.
too bad, though, right?
Nah,
Yeah,
what
nah, it
do
was
you mean?
actually
What you
good,
talking about?
You're going to the water. We thought you were going to stay with the
And
wine
I'm
a little
glad that
longer.
Jeff said what he said. You know what I'm saying? Because Jeff said something very wild to me. I didn't know that was a thing. Motherfuckers didn't know that was insane.
I heard about that only on Twitter, and I was like,
God,
what movie did you
what?
see? Yeah. But,
Common
yeah,
sense, bro.
I mean,
That's wild. That's wild, bro. And this is exactly why I sell that merch. Common sense ain't common. It's obvious as shit. Just
Well,
like it
we'll
was
send you-
obvious as shit they stole my man's story.
We'll send you a shirt, we'll send you a Common Sense Ain't Common
Oh, I
shirt.
saw that video and I saw those alignments. I said, God dang, they stole his shit. It's not it's not the differences, ladies and gentlemen. It's the commonalities. There's lots of differences, but when you can line up these commonalities one after one, beat after beat after beat after beat, they don't become just coincidence.
But
it was
yeah,
way
and
too
then,
similar
you know,
to
and
everything
then
was
the little
similar on
bits
point.
that they
But
implement,
Wise,
there's
you know-
quite a few of them, and the part with the compositing the characters,
But
that's
Wise,
unavoidable.
Wise.
Like literally, I think we're gonna probably bring a statistician in for that one and say, what are the odds that you could write an independent story?
Let me ask, would you take a lie detector test?
You know, because that one's just crazy. But
Would you take
then there's the you know, the two storylines they didn't use that are kind of still represented. You know, the economic collapse where they attack the bank because the bank won't pay out money. That's in my story.
Question.
And
Chris.
then the green serum that comes out of nowhere that doesn't mean anything.
Chris, would you take a lie detector test if they said you got to take a lie detector test?
Fuck yeah, let's do it today.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. You know, and you're on a press junket right now, Waz. You gotta be, because you know, hearing you, talking to you, I have a lot of respect for you that I didn't have. I'm one of the guys that look at the video and say he could watch the movie. I could go watch Thor Ragnarok right now, which I wouldn't, and say, hey, I did this. Just, you know, this is my similarities. This is seeing it after and not seeing, oh, this was so-and-so's email address back in this day. But you're telling me that a lot of this happened before email even existed. So I can understand that. And it wasn't clear to us who watched it. A lot of us naysayers did not know you had a copyright or a Library of Congress number. These things are big deals when in the writing world. You know what I mean? That's your protection. So without seeing that, not that it's none of, I'm not going to look up 55-23, but I realized when you made the video, you were
I
mad.
posted it on Twitter. I didn't post the whole thing because my address is on it and everything, but you know.
Makes sense.
Got it. So are you going to go to cons and have you reached out to the cons, and
if
are
I
they
had time,
I'm
ignoring
gonna go
you?
to no cons till after this is over, bro.
If I have time, I'm gonna go to New York Comic Con and see if fucking Uslan or Reeves is there and get them on camera.
But you're not going to do a panel talking about your case or anything like you're doing here.
I live all the way up in. I live in the
Schenectady.
mountains now. I'm all the way up in New
You're in
Hampshire.
Schenectady.
And I'm a single dad. I got a 10-year-old daughter.
Beautiful.
So
Congratulations.
I have to work around
Girl
her
dads.
schedule.
Girl
But
dads rock.
if I can get there, I want to go. Yeah.
Cool. I challenge any of my followers to go to that Comic Con to get Uslan on camera. Send it to me. That'd be great.
Please, somebody. I would love to see that reaction.
Just ask him the question.
Because I'll tell you right now what it's going to be. They're going to clam the fuck up.
I got the biggest question of the night. You
let's hear
ready?
it.
After the case, will you come back here on Jody's Corner
Yeah,
Live?
sure. I mean, you guys have been great.
Okay.
Tight.
Tight.
It's good.
I'll salute you.
And-
You changed my mind, Chris. I give it to you. You changed my
Thank
mind.
you.
So I saw something in the comment section. People are a couple of haters in there.
Gattaca
They
wants to say
mentioned.
his piece.
I want to make sure that there's nothing that wasn't asked to this man.
Yeah, see if
Can-
there's any questions that are lingering. Let's do
You
it.
have
While
a
I'm there, yeah.
you have a GoFundMe that makes people question your intention. Not me, but what would your GoFundMe for? Why do you have a GoFundMe?
Right now I just have a Patreon. I haven't even looked at it. I don't even know if anybody's given anything to it.
So there's no
but-
fundraising.
No, there was what is it called? Indiegogo?
Yeah, Indiegogo. It's kind of like a GoFundMe
Yeah, because
fundraiser, right?
you got to keep in mind that I don't have an internet presence before this. happened. I just had a Facebook account, and I only used it to talk to other comic book people. And even then, like I run a little comic book group with Rob Liefeld and Chris Ryle from IDW and stuff like that. And basically, that little corner of Facebook, that little comic book group, is the only reason I even go on the internet. I go there to talk comics and everything. So I try, because Facebook is a shitstorm, just like Twitter.
Yep.
I don't necessarily enjoy it, but like I said, I only even opened a Twitter account because I thought, oh, maybe they're going to clean it up, and I had never even seen Twitter, so I don't have an internet presence. So when I first tried to get this out there, I just fucking Indiegogo, Patreon, YouTube. I had I'm just trying to get the word out. So I threw it up anywhere I could. I even made a Facebook BatmanGate page, but I don't think I even used it. I don't even know if it's public. You got to keep in mind, I'm also doing I was doing all of this by myself. I didn't have help from anyone, so I had to deal with all this bullshit, and there's a lot to keep track of. And also, I got to stop and not work while I deal with that and make these, because I don't even know how to make videos. I only even made one other video in my whole life for that comic book that I'm going to do. And so I didn't know how to do sound. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to animate things. I just figured it out as I went in the video. And it's just like, that's.
So basically, you're saying it's to cover the cost of having to pursue this lawsuit.
We have. I'll just say it now because I hinted at it already. But I've got multiple offers now from people that want to take this case.
Yeah, of course, pro bono. They want to get
they're all taking it on contingency.
It's Warner Brothers.
And they think they think I have an excellent case.
Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, contingency is you don't pay shit unless we get you this money.
Yeah,
that's how exactly. That shows confidence in the case.
Yeah, because that's what I needed to do, because the people that are on their side of this have tremendous resources. Even if, like I said, even if we're just talking about Michael Uslan and Matt Reeves personally, they're very, very wealthy guys. I am not. So I mean, that's I needed people that had the resources to deal with Warner Brothers.
Is it like on TV where they pull up to the law offices with 5 trucks of vehicles and make them plow through trash bags of paperwork, like pounds and let's just flood them with.
Yeah, it's going to be a thing, man. It's going to be a mess. But if that's what it is, that's what it is. Like I said, like here's the thing. What's Plan B? Did I just fucking let them rob me? I'm not doing that. That's not going to happen. So even if I call them out and lose, at least everybody knows what they're up to, and this shit can stop. Because you let this slide, they're just going to go do it to the next dude.
Yeah,
and it's ridiculous.
And what you're doing right now,
they're
you're
always ripping off comic book people all the time. This has been going on forever.
Are your lawyers gonna let the bloggers come in, like some of these cases, like the Amber Heard or some of these rappers when they have cases? This could be a big case. Are you gonna let the press kind of keep an eye out on as things develop, play by play, like some of these cases?
There's one of the biggest newspapers in the country is working a story.
The Post, your favorite.
The what?
The New York Post, your favorite.
How do you know?
No, go ahead.
But yeah, there are people blowing shit up. They're working on stories, but it's a complicated thing too. I think everything got a lot more simplified, and easier to start, moving forward with it. Because the copyright's a big deal. It's not, it's like, oh, this is not talk anymore. Because I could say it was my story, but when you file real papers like that, and and people have to take you more seriously, that you're not just jerking them off.
Right.
All right. Well, if there's anything that you want to say before
I'm good. I'm just here to answer questions, and
Fantastic. All right. Well, I've asked all mine. The community has come in and asked him. I've even taken some people from the chat who were hating and asked about why does he want money.
Gattaca did.
Why did it want money? Because the movie made $900 million.
How dare you want money, bro? Why? I had a disagreement with, I think it was Tyrese. Tyrese himself was like, well, why is he coming out now? I mean, and I answered.
I just found out about it. I just saw it on HBO. I didn't know.
Right.
That's when I found.
That blew me away.
I didn't see the movie. That's
why you waited so long.
Why did he wait? Why did he wait? what I gave my answer. Like if I'm
I
away,
heard. I do have a question. Because
Yeah.
somebody was asking me, you've had 4 years to, to bring up this claim. Like, did they release the story to public before the movie came out? What are they talking
No.
about?
I don't know what he means by 4 years.
Well, the movie just came out, like this year.
You mentioned something about 2017 with some other
yeah,
guy with a rewrite.
I've heard some people say that. Oh, we've known about this story for years now. Why didn't you mention it? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I don't know what they're referring to. But
talking about something different.
Now we're in the space. We actually pay attention to this movie, The Batman, for the last 3 years, and I can tell you that even if you were paying attention to the Comic Cons, the Wonder Cons, the DC fandom, and listening to Matt Reeves, even though he had 25 minutes of explaining shit, you still would not be able to liken that to your script unless you saw the movie.
They couldn't possibly have released the whole story to people.
No.
Then what would be the point of going to see the movie?
Absolutely not.
Have you obtained a copy of the script from the Writers Guild yet?
I actually no, but the Writers Guild is one of those things that we're going to take care of.
So
now.
do you subpoena them, or you just?
We don't need to. They're releasing it. There's but yeah, earlier versions and stuff like that. We're going to have to try and get all that in Discovery. But like literally, we just ordered. Like the script is coming out. They're releasing it. So we just pre-ordered it. That'll do for now. It's going to take. You get. When you're going to go to war against Warner Brothers, it's going to take
a while.
You got to get all your shit together. So
Based on the evidence and what I've heard, I'm satisfied.
I'm definitely satisfied too.
Good luck to you too, man.
If you're in Los Angeles, swing by live. We'd love to meet you in person.
If you're ever in LA, hit me up, man.
We'll have some of that red wine you like on deck for you, sir.
Listen, by the time it's time to do a live stream, I'm gonna need that glass of wine. That's why. that's the end of the day. Kid's been put to sleep. It's like it's like fuck, man. It's time to unwind. But I appreciate that, guys.
Thank you.
Really do.
Thank you so very much for stopping by.
Put some claps in the.
I'm gonna take an update.
Claps in the. Thank you.
I want to get an update with you. Oh shoot, man! Qui-Gon came through. I gotta get him in.
Uh-oh.
Qui-Gon, real quick. Go ahead and ask a question real quick before we dip out.
Go.
He's not at his mic.
That's it. Go.
Oh, there he goes. Go ahead, Qui-Gon.
Hey, Chris. That's your first name, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Hey, man. You look good, man. You look good, man. Yeah, man.
What kind of question are we getting to?
Hey, man. Hey, my number one question would be, are you scared to go up against
Donkey Kong? We're gonna go do it. But in the beginning, I was worried that they were gonna, use all their resources and just shut me down before I got the word out. In the beginning, I was very, very scared of retaliation. I was like, I'm calling out people with tremendous money and power, and there was no other way to do it than to call them out, because I couldn't soft pedal it. It was what it was. They stole the fucking story. Yeah. So in the beginning, I was very concerned that they would, copyright strike the videos, or, before I could even get the word out, because they just they've got that kind of pull. Now I'm not worried about anything.
Okay, that's tight. Yeah.
Because now, I could prove how old my story is. I could prove, at this point, their only argument is to say that the stories are not really the same, and I don't think anybody's gonna fucking buy that one. My people are not worried about that. So.
Yeah, I believe you. I watched the video. The video looks pretty clear. I mean, you gotta have a pretty small brain to not know that he took some shit.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Any other questions, Qui-Gon?
No, that's really it, man. Just want to ask that question.
Sure. I normally wouldn't do that, but it's for you, bro. I had to get you back up in there, bro. I had to give you a shot, my dude.
No talking. Hey, respect.
Respect, homie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Once again, thanks again. That is Chris Wozniak, man. It's Facebook. What's your Facebook if they want to reach out to you? Your Facebook.
I said this whole thing was painless. It was great. No problems.
So, do you have a Facebook that they can reach out to you if anybody wants to reach out?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, but I'm on Twitter too, where I don't know if anybody's
That's his
looking to
Twitter right there in
contact
the
me. You could do that through Facebook or Twitter.
Are you on
BatmanGate on
Instagram?
Twitter.
No.
Just
You
my
on
normal
Instagram?
name on Facebook.
Facebook, Twitter.
Are you
Got
on
it.
Instagram as well?
No, dude, I don't have any social media accounts. I don't.
Good.
know.
It's trash.
Last,
Yeah,
are you still
and like I
penciling?
said, the split second I get paid, I'm dumping these. So.
Do you still draw? Do you still draw?
Yeah, I do. I do still draw. The book I'm doing now, I am drawing, but I prefer to write and be the editor. I like to create the stuff and write it, and then because there are guys that just draw better than me, so I prefer to let other guys deal with that because I'm also slow at drawing. But writing to me is just much easier. So I still draw, but I try to I do it just to keep the skills up.
Send one of your new books
Real
over
quick,
here. We'd
hater
love
in the
to see
chat. Hater in the chat. Are you asking for $3 million?
I think we're gonna probably be. I don't know. We haven't set on that number because, like I said, initially when we're talking, the $3 million number came, and I explained that in the Indiegogo thing. It was just like I don't know what somebody deserves for contributing the main storyline to a fucking $900 million movie. Like, what is that worth? $3 million sounded reasonable to me. I don't know. I don't know what the other two writers got, but I'm sure it's something fucking. It wasn't chump change, right?
Right.
So I just threw a number on there. So it doesn't matter, because in those things, it doesn't matter if you hit your goal or whatever. It's just a fucking arbitrary number. It doesn't mean anything, So
$3 million you're not married to. You could get less or more.
What do you mean? If they came out today and made an offer of $3 million, I don't know. I have to think about that. But like at this point, where it looks like we're going to go to the mattresses. So
you're in scorched earth mode, so you're probably looking for more than 3.
Well, what I'm saying is, if we're gonna make me go through that shit, we're asking for everything. I'm not gonna fucking,
of course.
If you're gonna make me, if you're going dark and you're sitting quietly and you fucking, my mind changed on all of that. Fair compensation was what I was talking about initially. When I found out that he took my story as soon as I gave it to him, then I was like, this is, fuck that,
Yeah.
So. Now it is what it is. We'll just have it out and see where it lands.
I ain't mad at you, bro. I think $30 million sounds more appropriate if you ask me.
I mean, dude, it's fucking. This is a crazy. It's a lot of money.
Yeah. And that's being nice.
It's a good number.
Yeah.
Whose lovely legs am I looking at in the background? It's gonna trouble me for the rest
who
of
is
my
that?
days. Who is that?
That is
Anne Hathaway?
Laura Bacall.
From Shawshank Redemption. That's who they were
No,
talking about,
it's
right?
older. She's the one that used to make the movie with Humphrey Bogart. And this other.
Lauren Bacall was the woman that they mentioned they had a crush on in Shawshank Redemption.
No, that was Rita Hayworth.
Wow.
Rita Hayworth.
You guys know your shit, yeah?
Yeah, that was Rita Hayworth. Yeah. Rita Hayworth.
Lauren Bacall, huh?
All right, for sure. Well, that's it. My man Chris.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, bro. You're tight.
It.
You answered all the questions, bro. We'll call you back in for an update. Shout out to my man Chris Wozniak, bro. Have a great night. Enjoy that wine, my brother. You're going to get this W. You'll get all these riches, bro. What's owed to you.
One more thing, Chris.
We'll see how it goes.
One more.
All right.
Chris. One more thing.
I knew we had something.
One more thing. Can you say, hey, this is Chris Wozniak, and you're watching Jody's Corner Live?
Okay. Hey, this is Chris Wozniak, and you are watching Jody's Corner Live.
Yeah. Peace out, Chris. You have a great night, my brother. There it is. Chris Wozniak. Y'all heard it. Y'all remember we had that discussion. You feel me?
You can't just give it up for Chris. You gotta give it up for Jody Joe.
Hey,
no, do a dono celebration.
Hey, for sure, man. Hey, I told
you, the new Jody's Corner Live, y'all.
You gotta believe in this.
Trigger the lights, man.
Hey, man. Hey, Mark anything.
This the new Jody's Corner Live, y'all. Clap it up, y'all. Exclusive.
Questions, man.
Shout out to email repeating questions. Shout out to him.
Yo, you almost caught the hat. You lucky we had company. Lucky we had company with that.
You were saying all the shit that I was thinking all the shit, man.
That's joke, Mark.
Like, damn, man. As soon as you said that, I'm like,
you ain't have no questions. I have beat.
Number one thing I want to ask you, how did you feel about this?
I'm telling you right now, bro. We about to get paid. Shout out to JC, baby. Oh, E-Man asked some trash questions. He trash.
Have you seen him yet?
Yo, that was dope, Jody.
So dope. We saw some E, some E popped out a little bit. Nigga said E trash. Yeah, E trash, but E man is different though. That's E man right there.
Tight.
That's the best. You trash motherfucker.
You trash, bro.
Common sense ain't common though.
Stole my shit.
Yeah, a lot of people in the comment section was throwing some hate though, so I had to make sure I get those hate ones too, bro. So don't ask no questions because we already asked them already. But real talk though,
And don't ask them 3 minutes later.
hey, bro, I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. After hearing what he had to say, I think he's gonna do well, bro. I think they're gonna settle out of court.
Yeah.
Of course they are.
This ain't nothing that you want to take all the way.
He's probably right about that shit though. About them servers, they probably we fucked up, trying to get rid of a lot of shit. But Warner Brothers is a huge company, as he said, so they definitely gonna come with them lawyers.
Yeah, bro.
What the producer's bonus was will be enough to keep him happy. I'm sure it's only 10,000 views on some of the videos, 7,000.
I know.
As it gains more traction, you know,